I've got more installs in the winter than I've had so far this summer. Typically, I don't have installs in the winter, like February and March, January, February, March, but we had a couple this year, which was great. it's, it's nuts.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Yeah, most HVAC guys are usually sleeping in the winter, and here you are booking estimates and doing installs. Um, if you had to compare that to last year, last winter, could you see the difference there?
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, back then. Yeah. But basically starting January, it, the daily doubled to quadrupled. So I'm showing up in search results way more often now than I did.
Solid. That's awesome to hear. And switching gears, obviously, from this into the actual ROI, can you tell us
hmm
just what was your return on investment? How many dollars did you spend versus how much you got back?
It's 300%, but when you take out what I paid, it's 200. Yeah, I made 20 on 10. Yeah. $2 for everyone spent. Keep two for everyone spent.
And the last thing I want to talk about is just what was it like working with me and my team? What was our communication like? Did we meet expectations? Did we fall behind expectations? Were we clear? Did we communicate well? Yeah, just walk us through what it was like working with me and my team.
Yeah, I mean it's very easy to work with you. You listen, you explain well, you keep it at a level that I can understand what's going on. And I would say that one of the differences in working with you versus other SEO companies is that SEO is one of those kind of ethereal things where they're just like, oh yeah, we're going to work on your SEO, but there's not an actual definition of that term. Like, what's the deliverable? You provided deliverables, right? Instead of saying you're paying for 10 hours of SEO work a week, it was, we're going to create 4 new pages, 5 blog posts, and, XYZ, and there were deliverables. So it was a very clear value proposition. Data doesn't lie, right? The data doesn't lie. And like, you've got charts that show this is when we got involved and look at the change, right? More impressions, more visits, more clicks. Those things are irrefutable, right? So the reason I said it that way, because other business owners are going to say, I'm putting this much into marketing, but I didn't make any more money. But that's not the metric, right? That's the metric he wants, but that's not the metric, because you can't control how much money he makes. I put this much money into marketing. My phone needs to ring more. That's the only thing the marketing can really impact, right? You get them to the website's done well. They click the button, the phone rings. Those are all things in the marketing purview. Once the phone rings, it leaves marketing and enters operations. And if there's no increase in revenue, but there is an increase in phone calls, you did your job. Revenue isn't how we measure if the marketer did his job right. That's why I was saying that. So as you talk to other people, right, you have phone calls or other guys or anybody that's watching, or if we actually record this to put on your website, that's an important thing to differentiate. We got to define our terms, and business owners want revenue, but marketers can't control that. That's an operations issue.
A lot of business owners worry about spending money on marketing, especially if they've been burned by other marketing agencies before. So, what would you tell someone who's kind of on the fence about whether or not they want to pull the trigger and work with an agency like us?
Yeah, I mean, I would say do it. Like you said, there's no contracts. There's really no risk, but they also need to keep in mind there's no aspect of marketing on the internet where anything happens faster than 3 months, right? So if you're going to give it a shot, you got to give it 3 months, and then you go back and look at the data and what the data determined for you. But I would absolutely say it's worth going for. And if you're looking at SEO, my experience with other SEO agencies, they weren't as clear, weren't as transparent, and honestly didn't move the needle as much.